Welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates. Before continuing this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news from Manchester United. Man Utd's Dream 11 next season as Ruben Amorim plots massive rebuild with 4 signings. Manchester United had a quiet winter transfer window with just 2 signings, but that could all change in a few months with Ruben Amorim targeting a huge influx of new players at Old Trafford. Manchester United could be in line for a stunning summer transfer window as Ruben Amorim eyes a massive rebuild. The Red Devils have endured a miserable season so far and sit 13th in the Premier League table. Fans were hopeful that the January transfer window would have given the side fresh impetus, but only 2 players were signed: Patrick Dorgu and Aiden Heaven from Lecce and Arsenal respectively. United Chiefs have preferred to keep the purse strings tight this winter ahead of a potential splurge in the summer as Amorim embarks on his first full season. And there are already a few positions where the Portuguese coach is keen to strengthen. Despite having a mistake in him, former Inter Milan goalkeeper Andre Onana appears sure to be United's number 1 for the foreseeable future. But there could potentially be changes in front of him. Dorgu should be drafted in at left-back following his £25 million switch from Lecce. He could potentially be joined by another new signing on the opposite flank. Despite Noussair Mazraoui's impressive debut season, Sporting Lisbon star Giovanni Quenda has been strongly linked with a switch to Old Trafford and would be a perfect candidate for the right wing-back role. There could also be a slight tweak in the heart of defense, with Lisandro Martinez looking likely to be ruled out for the rest of the calendar year. Jared Branthwaite is a long-term target of the Red Devils, and a move could be revived should United want a replacement for their injured defender. He would assemble an excellent backline alongside Lenny Yoro and Matthijs de Ligt. Moving into midfield, ex-Sporting Lisbon midfielder Manuel Ugarte should retain his place. Atlanta and Brazil midfielder Ederson has been rumored to be a contender to replace Case Moreau, so could claim a role in United's midfield. Current captain Bruno Fernandes would round off an impressive midfield. But it's in attack where United's new-look 11 is the most exciting. Having recently signed a new deal to stay with United, Ahmad looks to be a key cog in the club's future. And one man who that could also be true of is Swedish forward Viktor Gyökeres. The Sporting Lisbon star has been linked with United ever since Amorim made the move to Old Trafford. Serious competition from Premier League rivals could potentially put a deal in doubt, but Gyökeres would be a stunning addition to the United squad under his former boss. An uncomfortable conversation is required about Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana. Mistakes have crept back into Andre Onana's game, and some Man United supporters believe he should be replaced. Just before halftime in last weekend's game against Crystal Palace, Andre Onana made an exceptional save to deny Jean-Philippe Mateta, but the referee didn't realize he'd got his fingertips to the ball and pointed for a goal kick, instead of correctly awarding a corner to the away team. Onana reacted to the save by celebrating as if he'd just scored a goal. That was a huge giveaway, and he clearly wanted to let everybody know he got a fine touch to send the ball wide. Mateta lost that battle against Onana, but the Crystal Palace striker won the war. Mateta fired his side to a 2-0 victory at Old Trafford, and Onana's first-half save was made redundant. Those who attended Old Trafford on Sunday will remember Onana's intervention to deny Mateta in the 40th minute because of his wild celebration. It is unusual for a goalkeeper to celebrate so passionately, and it felt telling that he felt the need to highlight a positive contribution. If Onana's form hadn't regressed in the last few months, would he have celebrated the save like he did? Probably not. The chances are Onana would have kept his head down and avoided attention from the referee, who had made a mistake by failing to recognize it was a Palace corner. United are in the middle of a bleak season, and Onana's form has worsened, so it is no wonder that he instinctively celebrated a save that most in the ground didn't realize he'd made. "Pressure is for tires," was the iconic line produced by Alan Shearer during England's win against Switzerland on penalties at Euro 2024. Impressively, England's players remained calm in that shootout, but pressure can play wicked tricks on the mind, and Onana is feeling the pressure. Onana was error-prone after signing from Inter Milan, and fans questioned whether he was an upgrade on David De Gea. His mistakes in the Champions League meant United finished bottom of their group, and he has spoken openly about how difficult those first 6 months were. Onana struggled and didn't look cut out for the role, but he enjoyed a mostly consistent calendar year of 2024, and it seemed like mistakes had been eradicated from his game. He won the Premier League's Save of the Month award for his outstanding double stop against Crystal Palace in September, and somehow bettered it against Fenerbahce in October. The Cameroon international denied Youssef En-Nesyri twice in a matter of seconds as Fenerbahce threatened an equalizer in the Europa League. He got down to his left before springing back to his feet to make another save, and Jose Mourinho described the saves as incredible. The Manchester Evening News were asked to nominate a few United players for a nationwide Player of 2024 survey, and Onana was among the candidates in the running for the award. Premier League pour cold water on plan that could make Manchester United millions. For major Premier League clubs such as Manchester United, the need to find new revenue sources is set to become increasingly important in the coming years. While broadcast rights have been on an incline for more than a decade, the most recent £6.7 billion deal for domestic rights may have seemed like a big £1.7 billion rise on the last cycle, but the devil is always in the detail, and the detail gives some clues as to the trajectory of broadcast rights. The £5 billion deal was across 3 years and for 200 games each campaign. The new deal is across 4 years and for 270 per season. That has diminished the value per game of the product. While international rights are seen as having a little way left to travel upwards, the fact is that broadcasters cannot keep paying more when subscriptions are dwindling and challenges faced by such things as the rise of piracy via IPTV impact them so significantly. The streamers have dipped their toe into the water, but paying more than the kinds of sums that traditional broadcasters have been is likely not the long-term play. The other revenue pillars of matchday and commercial both have their limitations. United are aiming to build a new 100,000-seater stadium adjacent to Old Trafford that will significantly lift already high matchday revenues, but there will always be a ceiling as to what can be done with bricks and mortar. As for commercial, partners now want to see a real return on investment against strict KPIs, and the simple transaction of handing over cash for having the name on the front of a shirt and on advertising hoardings is a thing of the past. The partnerships have to be meaningful and impactful, and if they aren't, they don't last and the value of the sponsorship inventory diminishes. Pre-season has for a good 2 decades been where clubs can make some extra funds, with tours to different countries and continents bring the club closer to a global fan base and aiding the growth of the brand, which can turn into greater merchandising power. The idea of a 39th game has been kicked around by the Premier League since 2009. The major U.S. leagues of the NBA, NFL, and MLB have long headed to the UK and other key markets for regular season games, not just exhibition games, and that has been a lucrative endeavor for them and allowed them to grow each brand. They have been extremely popular events. The 39th game idea was to take a round of Premier League games to the US in a similar way, giving fans in a major market that has disposable income and sports fandom in its blood a chance to see meaningful action and not a mishmash of fringe players and youngsters go through the motions. The idea went away, then it came back, and with the World Cup in the US next year and America now well and truly having caught the soccer bug, the possibility of it happening has appeared to be edging closer. Man United enter transfer race for £9 million striker who destroyed them this season. Man United are reportedly circling a Premier League-proven goal scorer for the summer. Manchester United have joined other heavyweight suitors in the race to sign Crystal Palace striker Jean-Philippe Mateta, according to reports. The Red Devils are expected to target a new goal scorer at the end of the season, and it's claimed that Mateta features on Ruben Amorim's shortlist amid his uncertain future at Selhurst Park. Amorim needs fresh firepower to improve his side's woeful attacking record. Only Everton and the 3 clubs in the relegation zone have scored fewer Premier League goals than United this season. Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee have managed 5 league goals combined, half of Mateta's tally, which has been boosted by 6 strikes in his last 5 games. The 27-year-old downed United in his last outing, scoring both goals in Palace's 2-0 win at Old Trafford on Sunday. Amorim started the same match without a recognized striker on the pitch, using Kobbie Mainoo as his frontman while Højlund and Zirkzee watched from the bench. Mateta's performance in front of goal would have impressed club chiefs, who are reportedly keeping tabs on the France international ahead of the summer. According to TBR Football, United and 6 other Premier League clubs, including Chelsea and Newcastle United, are all in the frame to pursue the Palace striker as doubts over his long-term future loom. Mateta is under contract in South London until 2027 after the Eagles triggered a 12-month extension, but he is yet to agree fresh terms. AFC Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest and West Ham United are also credited with an interest alongside Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, and Marseille. Mateta took some time to get going after landing at Palace from FC Mainz 05 in January 2022, but has exploded under the guidance of Oliver Glasner. The £9 million Frenchman has scored 26 goals in 41 games since Glasner replaced Roy Hodgson as manager. In that period, only Erling Haaland, Alexander Isak, Cole Palmer, and Mohamed Salah have recorded higher Premier League tallies. Amorim should prioritize a new striker once the summer transfer window opens after addressing left wing-back with the £29 million arrival of Patrick Dorgu from Lecce in January. Sporting's Victor Gyökeres unsurprisingly headlined speculation, considering the pair's hugely successful relationship in Lisbon. However, United are facing the prospect of an unprecedented second successive season without Champions League football in the face, and Gyökeres will feel like he belongs in Europe's elite competition. It would be no surprise to see the Red Devils get creative with their summer targets, and a move for Mateta would seal Premier League experience while not breaking the bank.